Hi, my name is Mel, and today I'm gonna talk to you about the Lite. Really quick, I wanna talk about why I pick the cameras that I do. As you know, I have been on the search for the best budget action camera. Everybody knows that the king of action cameras are GoPros, but we don't all have all the money in the world to buy a GoPro, right? Don't tell them I own them all. So in my search for the perfect budget action camera, I have come up with a couple requirements. Requirement number one, the camera must be under $150, because for $150, might as well just get a GoPro. An old one, you can get the GoPro Hero 5 for about $160, $170. Requirement number two, the camera has to shoot in at least 1080p, but I do prefer 4K. And it can't just shoot 1080p or 4K, it's gotta be a good video quality. Obviously, that's why people go for GoPros. Requirement number three, and it goes along with good quality video, the camera has to have some sort of image stabilization without being in a gimbal. Nobody's really gonna wanna watch your video if all they see is shaky footage. Requirement number four, the camera's got to have interchangeable batteries. Nothing's worse than being out there all day long shooting video with your action camera and then the battery dies. Now you're missing out on the rest of the day. Requirement number five, and I have learned this through time, having bought some of the cheapest action cameras out there, the audio needs to sync up with the video. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go ahead and watch my video reviewing the V-Moto 4K action camera. I'll leave it at that. So let's take a minute right now and go through the unboxing of the Lite, which by the way, you can get for about $60 to $70. So unfortunately, as you can see, this camera does not come with a lot of accessories. Probably the best thing about it though, that it's got over a GoPro, is this 3/4 20 tripod mount on the bottom of the camera. You don't need a fancy case or mount in order to use it. You can just stick this on a regular monopod or a selfie stick and you're ready to go. On the downside, compared to the GoPro, this camera is not waterproof. You need to put it in a case, which I did not buy, in order for you to be able to use it in the water. On the upside though, it's pretty cheap, so if it got ruined, I lost it or I broke it, no worries, I'll just buy another one. As you can see right here on the bottom, it comes with a rechargeable battery. On the same part here, this is where you put the SD card. On the side here is the micro USB port where you can charge the camera. One button on the top and the touchscreen on the back. So let's get straight to the point and cut right to some footage of this camera in bright daylight, set to 4K at 30 frames per second with image stabilization on. Now I'll show you some side-by-side footage between this camera and the GoPro Hero 7 Black so you know what it's competing against. Keeping in mind that the GoPro Hero 7 Black is $400 and this camera is $70. And as you have seen in the previous clip, the image quality coming out of this thing is pretty good. I think the only complaint I have about this camera is when you're looking at the video, if you're looking at the top and the bottom, with the image stabilization on, you can tell that there is something called lens distortion. So you see that fish eye look. and as the camera is trying to compensate, you can see the video sort of flexing as the camera is moving along. So now I'll compare it to the GoPro Hero 7 Black, and you can see obviously nobody beats GoPro when it comes to image stabilization, but the Lite does a pretty good job of competing with it. Coming back to that first video and listening to me speaking outside, you can tell that the video, or that the sound quality it's okay. It's not as good as the GoPro, again. But more importantly, the sound of what I'm saying is matching up with what it looks like I'm saying. I just realized I'm editing this video and I don't actually have a clip of an example of the audio and the video syncing. So here is a test of what it should sound like and look like on the Lite. Notice right away that what I'm saying matches up what it looks like I'm saying, if you know what I mean. Now this camera has something called LDC, or lens distortion correction. If you turn that on, it will take away, it tries to take away some of that fisheye look in the camera, makes it look like a normal video. However, if you have lens distortion correction, or LDC, on, the electronic image stabilization, or EIS, cannot be on at the same time. So real quick, let me show you footage of what this camera looks like with the with LDC on while it's in a gimbal. I have to say, for $70, I am pretty impressed with this camera. I mean, there's a lot of people out there doing plenty of reviews on the line of cameras to begin with, and they're not wrong. If there is one strong competitor against GoPro, I'd have to say it is Next, really quick, I'm going to show you a quick clip of what this camera looks like when it's dark out. Before I get into my thoughts on what this camera looks like in low light, I'm going to show you side by side this camera and the GoPro Hero 7 Black in the same conditions. That's right, I can't believe it. This camera is better in low light than the GoPro. I feel, and this is just my personal opinion, that the video quality that comes out of this at night is so much better than the GoPro Hero 7 Black. It doesn't look too grainy, but you can definitely see better in low light. Like, I can tell you that when I was reviewing the video that was coming out of the Lite compared to what was coming out of the GoPro Hero 7 Black, the Lite was able to see closer to what I saw with my naked eye. And that is incredible for a camera this small and a sensor as tiny as that. Now I know I have seen several other reviews out there about the 4K Plus, which is like 2 generations above this camera. And people say that 4K Plus is like the GoPro killer. Now the reason I didn't review that camera, and I probably won't ever review that camera unless it goes on sale, is that it is $210. I think $210 with a case. So, and what were my requirements? The camera's got to be less than $150. Otherwise, just get a GoPro. Now, flipping through the menu of this thing, I mean, it's not as easy as a GoPro, but it is fairly easy to learn. You just have to play with it for a minute or two, and then you'll be able to get the hang of it. Now, do I recommend this camera for a beginner? Hell yes. This camera for $70 is amazing. And unlike any other camera that I have touched, this camera has one thing over the GoPro, and that's recording in low light. Now, if you own a gimbal that fits a GoPro, this will fit in that gimbal. And then you'll be able to get awesome video, stabilized video. But you know, if you're out there on a budget and you're looking for a budget-friendly camera, you're probably not wanting to buy another piece of equipment just to be able to shoot with your Lite here. In that case, I think that the image stabilization is still pretty good. For $70, you just can't beat this thing. And this is coming from somebody who loves GoPros. I love GoPro. Now, if you have any questions or you have any comments about this camera, leave it in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.